Hey David, hi. Welcome to the GTIC, and I hope it's been a good one. I know you traveled a lot. I think it was an amazing experience. Missing a flight and then coming back. So, just wanted to welcome you. And is this your first GTIC?
No, I've been here. I think it's my fourth one.
Okay.
I haven't been the last few years though. I was at the GTIC recently down in Morocco.
Okay.
It's the second year they've done it there. Thank you for mentioning my missed flight. Yes, I was visiting your counterparts in Riyadh and managed to not catch my plane.
Excellent. So let's introduce you to our audience, and then we carry on with about Ekahau.
Sure. So I lead distribution sales for Ekahau across the EMEA region. When you think about it, we are a channel-led company. We don't have any direct sales. Distribution covers about between 80 and 85% of our business on any given month. So we are very much a distribution-led business. I joined the company at the beginning of January to support Mohan, my boss, who you would have seen here last year. And the Middle East is an area that we concentrate more and more now. Outside of a couple of our bigger regions, sub-regions within Europe, we're really looking at Middle East and North Africa as growth over the next 4 or 5 years.
So on this note, I just wanted you to, if you can just explain to our audience, who is Ekahau?
Sure. So Ekahau really comes in three parts. So we survey Wi-Fi networks, we design them, and we configure and reconfigure them, and we troubleshoot. So where there are Wi-Fi network problems, obviously Wi-Fi in itself is a living, breathing thing. It's not a set and forget, which most people assume it is. But with more and more connected devices, from whatever you bring to the office, to your microwave, to your fish tank, whatever it is, there are many things emitting signals that cause interference, and we've been there ever since Wi-Fi was commercialized back in 1999.
Oh, wow.
And we've built what has now become, and it's recognized globally as the best tools for designing and maintaining Wi-Fi networks. It doesn't matter whether you're the biggest company in the world, whether you're a large hotel chain that is doing massive conference functions and needs Wi-Fi to work all the time.
Okay.
Now Wi-Fi is required as a business critical element, from taking payments to the customer experience within a coffee shop, whatever it is. Wi-Fi is considered that it needs to work all the time now.
So on that note, I want to also ask you, how complicated or easy Ekahau tool is, and how do we use it? What's the USP of this product?
Two parts to that. So first of all, collecting data. You can't do a lot apart from predictive analytics without real radio frequency data, and that's why we have a piece of hardware called the Sidekick, or the Sidekick 2 now. It's the second version. That collects data. Now, pretty much anybody can collect data. You strap it on, it goes on your shoulder like a satchel, and you walk around your environment that you want to survey, and you literally switch it on, collect it, and load it to the Ekahau cloud. That's where the clever work comes in, because you do need somebody who is what we call a Wi-Fi engineer, somebody to understand that data. We have the software, which we call the AI Pro license, but it is essentially a piece of software to do design and analysis and configuration. They need to know what they're doing.
Okay.
And so that is where the technical expertise comes in. I don't think we're ever going to be at a point where that kind of thing can be done through a 100% easy, automated process.
Okay.
And the same goes for troubleshooting, design. We can do this. This is all done by professionals who are trained up.
Okay.
And we have certification for them.
Okay, excellent. So I want to ask you two questions. Basically, one question with two parts. So how secure is this? Because as we are discussing, it's all about data. So people would want to know that if I'm trusting my data to somebody, how secure it is. Point one. And when you asked about the certifications, I think that we will discuss later. On the partner side, how easy it is to get this partnership or this certifications.
Oh, so point one, security. It's 100% secure. The reason for that is that we're not taking sensitive data into our cloud. There is not personal data. Of course, we're not suggesting anybody can get in and breach what we hold in our cloud. But the routing of that data is bringing in only necessary radio frequency signal, wall material and attenuation data. It's not bringing in anything more. So we're holding data that we only need to hold, and it's not sensitive in a personal sense.
Okay.
With regards to certification, for many years now, we've had our ECSE training modules. They come in three parts. One is the design, which is your kind of not entry level, as it is a 4-day heavy technical course. We also have advanced, and we have troubleshooting courses. So there is a step between design and advanced that would really be that label, that badge for a Wi-Fi engineer, for a company, for a service provider to be able to shout from the rooftops about and differentiate them from somebody who, of course, doesn't have the certification. It's industry recognized as the leading Wi-Fi design certification that you can do, and you can only use Ekahau products, which are the best on the market, to get that certification with.
Okay. So now coming to the channel side, you earlier mentioned that Ekahau is a channel-led business. So just wanted to ask if we can broaden that. How does it works?
Absolutely.
How do you basically understand or figure out that who are your partners, and in this region, how do you work?
Over the years, so Ekahau really began a channel model, I would say originally not out of a huge strategy, but really out of a typical smaller business approach, where they were happy to work with specialists who were already in adjacent fields, whether it be cabling companies, whether it be various other network infrastructure, refit, anybody that really needed to survey, big or small, as part of their job, to certify, if you like, that what they've done as part of the install is going to now be set up so that Wi-Fi works. And it's built from there, really. Now we're at a point where we have a very distinct channel, and it's in two parts, really. We have a typical channel where you would have a value-added reseller who is working with larger end customers who manage their own networks. Okay. So we call them network owners. Those companies, you think of a large hotel chain, they have a central team and they manage their own networks. They are the ones who are going to be owning the Ekahau suite, the tools, and the software, and they'll manage it themselves. Okay. So we have a sell-through model in that regard. It's maybe 40% to 50% of our overall channel. The other 50 or 60% is a combination of systems integrators, of service providers, managed service providers, okay, who use Ekahau tools themselves. They own the license, they own the hardware, and they provide services down in the form of Wi-Fi management that is either pinned to what they're already doing collectively on IT service management, managing those services of their end customers who may be relatively small, right up to 500 people companies generally, maybe even up to 1,000 or 1,500, and yeah, that's maybe 50 or 60%. Those are the ones who are trained up. Okay. Those are the ones who are actually, they're the growing part of our base as well. Okay. And we want to work more and more with those guys. Okay. And in this region, in the Gulf region, especially here in the UAE, also over in Saudi Arabia, there is a huge pool of those types of resellers, those types of service providers who are not using Ekahau today. That's why we're here. That's why we want to reach them. That's why we have Ingram with us to reach them. And the end customers, as we describe them, they're not aware necessarily yet. That's another thing that we need to do, which is to create that knowledge, that awareness that this is something you as a business do have available to you if you investigate your supplier network. So that's why we're here.
Okay. So another question, with that. So for partners, they might say, what is there in it for us? So how do you incentivize partners? Also, for new partners, how do you onboard them? Is there a process, or it's just that they reach out to you and they get onboarded?
No. So we partner with value-added distributors in the region. In this case, Ingram, of course. There is a reseller program. It depends on what they do, of course.
Okay.
So there's two parts to it. We just mentioned value-added resale, so the sell-through, and we mentioned the sell-to. So this is the service providers and the systems integrators. They are able to obviously purchase the products through their distributor. The profitability side is what's important. There is let's say on the value-added resale side, there is a very decent margin in what we do. We're not. It's not, as you would understand, a cheap product.
Yeah.
It's also not something which is unbearable, but it is the leading global professional solution that you could have available to you. So there is margin for the sell through, and when you think about coming back to the service providers, the licensing model is very is a very positive thing for them. They can buy Ekahau for their own use. They can build their own services around it, and they can then use what they have. They now have the full tool set available to them to go over and over again to various different customers and bring Wi-Fi solutions as a managed service to those customers. And once they have the tools, it's over to them. We support them on the back end with technical services, but beyond that, they're able to now monetize each and every one of their potential customer relationships without effectively losing any margin back up the value chain. So it's a very good situation for service providers.
Okay, excellent. So also on that note, because we see that technology keep on changing, right? And we see that there's always a new technology coming in. We had Wi-Fi 6, now we have Wi-Fi 7. How does Ekahau cope up with it? Is it compatible, or what are the products it's compatible? Is there any challenges in that? If you can shed a light on that.
Oh well, we're in a great position. Our data collection device, the Sidekick, in its second version now, collects 2.45 and 6G frequency range. It's tri-band. That covers Wi-Fi 7.
Oh, wow.
In fact, a small change coming up will mean even the small part of the frequency that drops off the end of that is going to be coverable. We are here in the right place at the right time to help everybody design Wi-Fi 7 ready networks.
Wow.
It's great for us. Wi-Fi 7 has been coming for a long time. Wi-Fi 6 is still getting up and running. You go elsewhere in the world, they don't have it even yet. So it's a very versatile tool for whichever network you're designing. But thinking about the future, Wi-Fi 7, we're already there.
Oh, wow.
So you can collect data, you can design networks. We bring into our software, just from a integration perspective, our database consists of every single access point, router, switch that you could possibly identify when collecting the data when you walk around your office, logistics center, wherever you are, whatever you're surveying, we have every single access point in our database.
Wow.
So when you bring that into the data, it's already discovered it, it's already recognized it, it's already given all of the background data sheet information to it, and so it's ready immediately for configuring, which we're able to do in an automated way now. So some speed of work is now being reduced even for the Wi-Fi engineers, and it means now that networks in the past would often be fitted first and then solved for later using Ekahau. Now we're in the right place at the right time also, because with Ekahau's stature growing, more and more people now are aware that we should be doing the surveys first. And the question about, well, can you do this for our Wi-Fi 7 networks? The answer is yes, and we're ahead of the game.
Oh, perfect. So, I think to conclude, I also want to ask you, and that our audience also would want to know, right? Then why Ekahau and why not, something else?
We have the fullest solution. It's simple as that. You can't in any other product survey, predict, design, implement, and then troubleshoot in the way that we can. And to break that down, what I mean is, when a service provider, for example, is working with their customer, they're able to tell the customer before anything even happens what they're going to do, what they're going to fix, to what level is that fix going to improve their current network, if there's one in place already.
That's amazing.
If you're setting up a new network, you can tell them that you're going to set up the most optimally set up configuration network, meaning they're not going to spend more money. They're going to spend exactly the right amount of money on setting that up. And then once you've implemented, you haven't just run off and just done the upfront work. You're there on the back end, not only able to prove to them, look at what we said we do, it would be optimally perfect. Here it is. Look, it's perfect. You're then able to say to them, and as the environment changes, as everyone in this space knows, Wi-Fi is a living, breathing thing. It's not a set and forget. It's not static. They're there to continue to optimize it when changes happen, when they bring in new employees, when they bring in, when they have a major event in their office or building or hotel or whatever it is. They're able to be there and reconfigure, ready for those things, or troubleshoot if something goes wrong.
Oh, wow.
So you can do everything you say you're going to do with it. It creates such a great trust with a customer. And that's why, again, if you're in that space of providing services to customers, you can say with a lot of confidence that this is something that they're going to see tangible improvements on, because if they're not managing their network today, you can bet that they didn't set up their network correctly anyway, and all they're doing is dealing with problems in a reactive sense. And normally that involves break fix and no service provision. So to me, it's an easy sell because it's great to work for a company that has all of this. But I think to a partner base, that is a very relieving thing to be able to say to a customer when they ask.
Absolutely. And on that note, I would really like to thank you for joining us, giving us your time, giving us your inputs, and we really hope that FY25 would be an amazing year for all of us. And see you around. Thank you so
very
much.
much, Wamiq. An absolute pleasure.
Yes.